Yes, everyone, we are live now. We are live on YouTube. Soon we'll be live on Facebook as well.
हाँ हाँ जी Welcome all the participants and thanks for being patient. We'll start with the seminar soon. We'll start with the talk soon. Please be patient. Welcome all.
Hello, good evening, namaskar. Abhishek Srivastava, MD Telenoetica.
Welcome, sir. You are audible. Welcome, sir.
Hello. Okay.
Yes, Dr.
Kunal
Lakshman,
Lala,
welcome, sir.
are you hearing me?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. You are audible, sir.
You are audible. Now I will not do any work on this. I will keep it like this only.
Yeah, sir. Your turn will come, sir. I'll let you know, sir.
Okay, Kunal, you can choose a virtual background as well for the organizing committee, Maybe the RKGIT, like if you see, I am on a virtual background of Telenoetica.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So, लोगो और जो है ना अपना आज का whatever theme is there.
Okay, sir, we are working on it, sir.
Yeah. So that way everything will be like logo और जो है ना अपना आज का whatever theme is there.
Okay, sir, we are working on it.
Yeah. So that way everything will be like logo और जो है ना अपना आज का whatever theme is there. Yeah. So that way everything will be like Kunal, there is an error here.
Yes, sir.
The voice is getting recorded and it is being replayed again and again. Or it is some echo
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
coming.
it is. I can also hear it, sir. It is audible. We are fixing it, sir, too. We are fixing it.
And it is being replayed again and again. Mr. Pankaj is there now, and he's now the co-host. Can we request him to unmute himself and test?
Sure. Jatin, sir, please do the needful. Welcome, sir. Welcome, Pankaj, sir. Welcome, Dr. Anil Kumar from SPIU. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Our pleasure, sir. Pleasure is all us. Jatin, sir.
Yes,
Patel,
sir.
sir. Kindly help the honorable speaker to check the audio settings and all the settings, technical settings, please, by unmuting him.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm unmuted now. Should I share my screen and see if it works?
Yes, sir, you can. Go ahead, please.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. This was easy.
Yeah. Well, I can see the number of participants are increasing. I again welcome all of you. Thanks for being so patient. We'll start off with the session very soon. Welcome all.
We still have
Yeah,
about
Abhishek,
2
I'll
minutes.
stop sharing, and then when we are ready, I can share my screen again.
Okay, that's fine. We can go back to the banner that was there and wait for the dignitaries to join. Yeah. That's fine. So we'll wait, and Kunal, over to you.
Yeah, sir. Yeah. I again welcome all the participants. The numbers are increasing. It's really very amazing to watch this. And we'll be resuming soon. We are just waiting for the Vice-Chancellor to join us. As soon as the VC sir joins us, we'll start off with the session. Once again, welcome you all. Thanks for being so patient. This would be a very informative session for you all. Thanks for being so patient. We'll start off soon. Jatin sir, is director sir with us? Jatin sir?
Yes, sir.
Is director sir with us?
Yes, director sir is with us.
And I think chairman sir has also joined.
Yes, sir.
So we are just waiting for the Vice Chancellor sir to join us, and then we shall resume the session. Once again, welcome all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Director sir. Yes, sir.
I think chairman sir is also joining.
Yes, sir.
We are just waiting for the Vice Chancellor. As per the information received, the Vice Chancellor, the Honorable Vice Chancellor is about to join us soon, probably in 1 or 2 minutes, and we'll start off with the session then. All the participants are welcome again, and you people can post your queries and regarding your feedback links, they all shall be provided in the chat box only. Fine, they all shall be provided on the chat box. We are about to start in a matter of few minutes now. Welcome all.
Your voice is quite feeble, very feeble.
Is it fine now, sir?
Now it is better.
Sure, sir. I'll keep it in mind, sir.
Hello.
Jatin sir, any update on the Vice Chancellor joining? Has VC sir joined?
Not yet, sir.
Fine, sir. I once again welcome all the participants, and we are just waiting for the Vice Chancellor sir to join us, and we shall start off soon. We shall start. All our dignitaries, our speakers have joined us. We are just
What
waiting for
about
the
Akshat? What about Akshat?
Sir, Dinesh sir has joined us. The chairman sir has joined us, sir.
Acha, not Akshat.
Jatin sir, any update on Akshat sir?
No, sir. No update on Akshat, sir.
Just had an update about Akshat sir. He'll be joining us after 8 o'clock, perhaps. He's busy right now, sir.
अच्छा 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 इस नाम से है सर पता चलेगा अच्छा सर वो सर अलाउ तो सर सबको ही कर रहे हैं वो बाहर नहीं है अलाउ करने वाला डायरेक्ट सभी को अलाउ कर रहे हैं सर इसी सर ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं
Sir, VC sir has joined. Kunal sir, VC sir has joined.
हाँ सर
Kindly
ठीक है
start
सर
the
ज्वाइन कर
program.
चुके हैं आ गए सर
Okay, sir. Dr.
हाँ, आ
Pawan,
गए।
are we good to go? Are we good to go, sir?
यस ठीक है सर ठीक है यस प्लीज go ahead and start the program please Mr. Kunal
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. हौसले के तरकश में कोशिश का वो तीर जिंदा रख, हार जाए चाहे जिंदगी में सब कुछ, मगर फिर से जीतने की उम्मीद जिंदा रख. Well, there's a saying, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Meaning, the situation becomes difficult, the strong one will always work harder to meet the challenge. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The warmth of the day goes out to the dears and the eminent. On the behalf of Department of ECE and RKGIT Parivar, I, Kunal, extend a warm welcome to all of you. In the present times of adversity and pandemic situations, sometimes a lot of negative thoughts clutter our mind regarding career, growth, future challenges, etc. Mostly engineering graduates are the more which are concerned and anxious to what the present crisis may lead to in terms of jobs, etc. This talk is an attempt by the Department of ECE RKGIT to eradicate the fear among the minds of the concerned fraternities. The highest levels of performance are empowered by the deepest levels of belief. Performing with belief is a critical factor for achieving success at anything in life. When your belief drives you about you, what you do determines what you achieve. When your belief is strong, you perform smarter, better, and with greater resilience. This is true everywhere, whether it be business, athletics, education, or personal relationships. What you believe either empowers you or it limits you. Empowering beliefs pull your performance up. Limiting beliefs pull your performance down. This is especially true under competitive pressure or in response to challenging situations. But the good news is, what you believe is your choice. I would now like to call in Dr. KGIT for the welcome address, please.
Good evening, Kunal. Am I audible? Check.
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Kunal.
Yes, sir. Please.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Chief Guest of the Day, Professor Vinay Kumar Pathak ji, Vice-Chancellor, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University, Lucknow, Honorable Chairman, RKG Group of Institutions, Shri Dinesh Kumar Goel ji, respected Professor Dr. Anil Kumar, State Project Advisor, SPIU of TechUp 3, AKTU, Lucknow, beloved Group Directors,
Hello, I am not hearing anything.
Director R&D,
I am not hearing anything.
Director R&D, Dr. Lakshman Prasad, and Dr. DK Chauhan, Executive Director, respected invited speakers and Speaker of the Day, Mr. Pankaj Srivastava, CEO, PracticalSpeak, California, USA, Dr. Mahavir Singh Naruka, Nodal Officer, Academic, SPIU, UP, AKTU, Lucknow, HOD of the departments, Dr. RK Yadav and others, Convener of the webinar, Dr. Pavan Kumar Shukla, Professor, ECE Department, respected all national and international participants, beloved deans, faculty members, and more than all, my dear students.
Hello?
I deem this as my proud and
Kunal, I am not hearing anything.
We are getting it fixed, sir. We are getting it fixed. Director, sir, you go ahead, please.
Thank you. I deem this as my proud and privilege to welcome you all for the International Webinar Talk Series from 25th June to 16th July 2020 on all Thursdays between 7 to 8 p.m. At the outset, it is a great honor for all of us to welcome our Honorable Chief Guest of the program and Vice-Chancellor, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Technical University, Lucknow, Professor Vinay Kumar Pathak ji. Honorable Vice-Chancellor is a great academician and visionary. Sir, in spite of a busy
Hello,
schedule,
Doctor.
you are making
Kunal.
to be with us. Sir, on behalf of the management and on my own behalf, we wholeheartedly welcome you, sir. Friends, the backbone of all our activities in RKG Group of Institutions is none other than our Honorable Chairman, Shri Dinesh Kumar Goel ji. Sir, on behalf of the RKGIT family and on my own behalf, I welcome you, sir. I also take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Anil Kumar, SPIU of TechUp 3, AKTU, Lucknow, and Dr. Mahavir Singh Naruka, Nodal Officer, Academic, SPIU, TechUp 3, AKTU, Lucknow. I wholeheartedly welcome you, sirs. I wholeheartedly welcome all the participants. Most affectionately, I welcome group directors, deans, HODs, and faculty members of RKGIT, I also welcome our beloved students for the International Webinar Talk Series. Friends, I congratulate the department HOD and his team for organizing an international webinar talk series on the topics IoT, cyber security, new ideas and innovations in the technology and use of IoT in the telecommunications. Friends, you all agree with me. These are the hot topics of the day and the future. Friends, pandemic COVID-19 has brought a significant change in the teaching learning process. In this direction, in a humble way, the department is organizing such online webinars for the benefit of the faculty and the students. As it was very well said by our Honorable PM, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, we have to learn to live with Corona and develop sustainable environment. Also, he mentioned Skill India, Make in India, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, etc. Friends, my humble submission to all the faculty and students is to take the advantage of the pandemic of COVID-19 and the webinars to bring innovative ideas, researches, projects for the prosperity of the country. Once again, I wholeheartedly welcome you all for the International Webinar Talk Series organized by Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Rajkumar Goel Institute of Technology, Ghaziabad. I wish all the success of the program. Friends, let me remind you the one good slogan of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, Sabke Saath, Sabke Vikas. Thank you very much. Jai Hind. Thank you, Kunal. Over to Kunal.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for the kind welcome. Now, I would like to request the Honorable Chairman, sir, Shri Dinesh Goel ji, to please come up and shower his blessings on us.
RKGIT द्वारा आयोजित इंटरनेशनल वेबिनार श्री टॉक के प्रथम दिवस पर AKTU के वाइस चेयरमैन परम श्रद्धेय विनय पाठक जी, डॉक्टर अनिल कुमार जी, श्री पंकज श्रीवास्तव जी तथा सभी आए हुए इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स एंड कम्युनिकेशन डिपार्टमेंट के सभी हेड्स, फैकल्टी, डायरेक्टर्स, सबका मैं हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं, अभिनंदन करता हूं, वंदन करता हूं। सबसे पहले मैं आप लोगों की सबकी कोरोना का जो वैश्विक महामारी चल रही है, आशा करता हूं कि आप सब कुशल से होंगे और परिवार भी सब कुशल मंगल में होंगे। मेरी ऐसी ईश्वर से प्रार्थना है और मैं ईश्वर से प्रार्थना करता हूं कि आपका जो इंटरनेशनल वेबिनार टॉक सीरीज जिस उद्देश्य को लेकर चल रहा है उसमें आप सफल हों, कामयाब हों, ऐसी मेरी ईश्वर से प्रार्थना है। और आपसे मैं यही आशा करता हूं कि आप अनलॉक 1 चल रहा है, लेकिन हमें जो भी उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार की जो गाइडलाइंस हैं, हमें मास्क पहन कर चलना है, एक दूसरे का स्वास्थ्य का ध्यान रखना है, अपने स्वास्थ्य का ध्यान रखना है, इसका पूरी तरह पालन करते हुए हम आगे बढ़ेंगे। इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम देता हूँ। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you so much for showering your blessings on us. Now, I would like to bring in Dr. Pawan Kumar Shukla, the convener of the talk, to please come up and enlighten us about the today's theme, please. Over to you, Dr. Pawan. Dr. Pawan? Dr. Pawan?
Mr. Pawan, unmute yourself. पवन जी अनम्यूट कर लीजिए माइक।
Okay, am I audible now?
Yes, sir. You are ready to go ahead, sir. Please enlighten us about the theme of the topic.
Okay. Good evening to everyone. Honorable Vice-Chancellor AKTU, Honorable Chairman of RKG Group of Institutions, Sri Dinesh Goel ji, Honorable Speaker of the Day, Mr. Pankaj Srivastava, CEO, PracticalSpeak, California, from SPIU, Director RKGIT, Dr. Somsekar sir, Dr. D.K. Chauhan, Executive Director, Dr. Mahavir Singh, Nodal Officer, SPIU UP, RKGIT, and the Head of the Department of Electronics and Communication, Dr. R.K. Yadav. All the faculty members of RKG from the other institutes of the different universities of India, all the faculty members, all the students, and all the industrial technocrats of India and abroad. I welcome in this international webinar series, and I also want to welcome Mr. Abhishek Srivastava, CEO Telenoetica, Nigeria, for supporting us as the telecom MNC and having an MOU with RKGIT. As we all know that this time we are going through a very critical situation, and the whole world is going through this critical situation, and somehow we all are facing adversity during this phase of time due to COVID-19. This talk series aims to create an energetic positivity among all the engineers as well as faculty members and engineering graduates. We have tried to incorporate some technical and some social issues and their establishments as the consequences of COVID-19, so that we all engineering graduates related to the technological domain may stand strongly in this adverse time of the world. Thank you very much for joining this webinar. Now I will not take much time because our speaker and Honorable Vice-Chancellor sir is also here. So I request Mr. Kunal to go forward for this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. It is a profound matter of joy that the Honorable Vice-Chancellor has taken out time from his busy schedule and joined us. I would now like to bring in Honorable Vice-Chancellor. Please, Jatin sir, please bring in the Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Professor Vinay Pathak ji, please, for sharing his blessings on us.
So, very good evening to all of you, and good evening to Dr. Somsekar, who has invited me for this chief guest lecture as a Vice Chancellor. Also, I want to welcome Sri Dinesh Goel ji, who happens to be one of our friends and who is one of the most philanthropic chairman of a college. Sri Dinesh Goel ji, who is the chairman of RKGIT Group. I also want to welcome all the participants, all the teachers, and all other people. It's a great pleasure for me to talk to all of you this evening. This is a great start of starting this webinar on topics which is very related, and I think the visionary Dr. Somsekar has said that every Thursday it will happen. So first of all, my good wishes to all of you. In all these months, last 3 months, there was a corona pandemic, and corona pandemic is still going. A lot of people don't know that what is happening, what will happen, and what has happened. But one thing which is very important, which has happened, the brick and mortar structures are closed. But the important thing is this, that the education is going on. I think in last 3 months, we have learned a lot of things on the new normal which has happened. So the new normal has happened. New normal in the field of education, new normal in the field of technology, new normal in the field of online learning. So we have everybody passed, and this new workshop on seminar or webinar is, I think, the outcome and the product of this. I think India and Indian mindset has got a long way. People are scared about their job. They have got anxiety about what will happen to them in the future, what will happen to the company. I think this talk today which is the starting talk, will, I think, tell them all the right things, and they will be in a great kind of a situation after listening that talk. Two important thing which I have said is, I want to say that most of the countries, when they have gone through this kind of phases, not today, but if you recall of US has become a superpower when US had seen the recession. All other countries are taking, like China, the US, and all other big countries are coming back to the normal. So we should not worry. The students should not worry. The normal will actually come, and it will come very soon. But one thing which has become very, very important is this, that we, as the Prime Minister has also said, that we should be very vocal for the local and make it a global. This is an opportunity when the country can become self-reliant, Atmanirbhar Bharat. And I think this is one place where we can look upon, and we can see now everybody has got a passion that they want to come back and make something new for the India. I think our youngsters and young people have got this opportunity, and we have also got the capability of doing those things. I want to tell them and say that you are the new people who can make this country a great country. And this is a new normal which has come. And I want to say that we should always try for these things and make this India a self-reliant country. Regarding the education and all other things, I think a lot of people must have an anxiety about examinations and all other things. Don't worry about all those things. Some decisions will come and some decisions will happen. And but the best part is that the most important part is that our health should remain same, and our health should remain good, and we should be normal by our brain. I think this is going to happen. And this talk, I want again to wish you all a great success for this talk and this webinar. RKGIT is a great institution headed as a chairman by Dinesh Goel ji, who himself do a lot of social service. I will always say that all the students who are involved should also try and do some social services. Social services make you more strong, make you more conscious, and make you more coming close to the society. I once again want to wish all the great success to this workshop and seminar. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for being a constant inspiration, and thank you so much for being so supportive for us to conduct such events. It was a pleasure listening to you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome Dr. Anil Kumar, a technician, a technical educational professional and general administrator, a strategist and policy planner, an environmentalist who had cherished a career of 35 years. He is presently State Project Administrator of TQIP 3rd in Uttar Pradesh. He is having a rich experience of water resource engineering and environmental management in industries and academic administrations, policies and regulatory compliances, international affairs, etc. He is also having rich experience in the field of quality assurance and regulatory compliance, accreditation, industry, institute partnerships, international affairs, and administration of examination, assessments, and certifications, etc. We are delighted to have Dr. Anil Kumar with us. Over to you, Dr. Anil. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. It's my great pleasure to be part of this great webinar, and that to an international webinar. Few days back, when the organizers from RKGIT shared with us that they are in the process of organizing a series of international webinars focusing the students, faculty who are passing through the critical situation. We happily agreed when we came to know that the Mentor of Technical Education in Uttar Pradesh and the Vice-Chancellor had the blessings for this international webinar. Sir, MHRD through TechCube 3 in few select institutions of the country has the mandate to create a culture of quality, enhance the quality in every aspect of academic activities and then after. quality in education, focus on the outcome, and finally creating a situation when there is an enhanced employability to the students and greater satisfaction to the industry. But the present scenario, when the whole nation, you can say the whole of the globe passing through a very, very adverse situation because of the natural situation, and within these adverse conditions, we cannot sit idle. The life is easy, we can enjoy ourselves, and that is wonderful. But what about when the life becomes not so easy? What about when we are up against challenges that really scare or overwhelm us? It seems that it would be great if our lives were always easy and happy rather than challenging. But if that is the situation, we cannot achieve anything. We can become happier when we achieve something in a very, very adverse situation. But the only thing required in the adverse situation, we need to be focused, we need to be committed, and we need to keep our goals still high, high, and high. I will not share much detail about that because the expert talk will be shared by our international expert, Mr. Pankaj Srivastava. I welcome Mr. Pankaj Srivastava. We all are part of this great webinar. I also welcome the Vice-Chancellor, the Chairman, RKGIT, the Vice Chairman, the Director, the Convener, and my colleagues from SPIU, Mr. Naduka. So with all these, I will hand over the mic to the organizers so that they can continue the further proceedings. Thank you very much and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, sir, for the constant support you provided us. Without your support, it would not have been possible for us to deliver on such a big platform. And I once again thank you so much. I would now like to bring in Dr. Lakshman Prasad, Director R&D, RKG Group of Institutions, to please come up and share his motivational words with us. Do we have with us Dr. Lakshman Prasad, please?
अरे जरा मोबाइल देना अपना मोबाइल होगा
Sir, you are good. Lakshman sir, you are good to go. You are audible.
Hello, do I speak now?
Yes, sir, you are ready to speak, sir.
Hello?
Please go ahead. Yes, sir, go ahead, please, sir. Please go ahead.
Hello?
You are audible, sir. Go ahead. Jatin, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is there any technical glitch from the sir's end?
I don't think so, sir.
Dr. Lakshman? Dr. Lakshman, sir, are you with us?
Hello. All right.
Yes, sir.
Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Dr. Vinay Pathakji, our Honorable Chairman, Shri Dinesh Goelji, Director, RKGIT, Dr. Somshekhar, eminent speakers, and dear participants. I am indeed very happy to be a part of this unique webinar, international series of talks. I am slated for 3 minutes to cover. Hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir. You're audible, sir. Please carry on. Please carry on, sir.
But I am not hearing anything.
Sir, we are hearing everything from you, sir. We are hearing everything. You can go ahead, sir. Jatin, sir?
Yes, sir.
I think there's a technical glitch from the sir's end. We shall resume his talk after some time. And now we can finally go for our talk today. Let me take the honor of introducing Mr. Pankaj Srivastava to you all. Mr. Pankaj Srivastava, growth driver, brand builder, customer enthusiast from California. He had learned that creating big values starts with small steps and the courage to embrace failure. Because one of his early manager told him that I did not hire you because you know that what needs to be done. I hire you because you know that you know very little. Some of his proudest achievements include launching of one of the first mail marketing program, build and nurture online customers. He built the first brick and click loyalty program. He helped scale $100 million business to over $600 million business in a matter of 5 years only. His expertise includes creating differentiated values, marketing strategies, program developments, multi-channel executions, product strategies, and data-driven storytelling. Before bringing him in, I would like to conclude with a quote of Martin Luther King. Well, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. And if you can't walk, then crawl. But wherever you are, you have to keep moving forward. Over to you, sir. Let us officially resume with the talk. Please welcome, sir.
Thank you, Kunal. Thank you, everybody, for inviting me. It is an honor to be in this esteemed audience today. And good evening. I know it's very late now in India, so I appreciate you making the time in this evening to actually listen to what I have to say. Again, thank you very much for inviting me. I will now share my screen. Minimize this. Okay. Can everybody see my screen? Can somebody just tell me if they can see my screen?
Yes, we can see it. Please go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So, today, I would love to talk about, adversity and how adversity is actually, in my opinion, a catalyst for progress. It's conventional wisdom that you don't progress in life unless you face adversity. So today I'd like to share a few personal experiences that I went through during times of adversity.
Hello.
Can everybody hear me?
Audible, sir. You carry on, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay,
Pankaj, sir, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I'd like to share some personal, experiences that I faced, and also talk about, some of the strategies and techniques and tactics that I've been able to use in times of adversity to create an opportunity for myself, for my company, for my team. So first of all, Kunal, you shared a little bit about my experience, but I'd like to kind of give you something that is not there on my LinkedIn profile. So who is this guy and why should you listen to me? So when I first came to the US, I came here for business school. I did not have any money. I had $170 in my pocket, no scholarship, and no job. I took the first job I got. and that was washing dishes. Then I got promoted and I became a cook in the same place I was doing dishwashing. So for the first 6 months that I was in America, I started out washing dishes and then graduating and being promoted to become a cook. When I graduated from business school, I got a job. It was a time of recession in America, but I quit my job in 4 hours. I went to my first job in America after business school at 9 o'clock, and by 2 o'clock, I was done. And the reason I quit that job was I realized very quickly that at that new job, the opportunity for me to learn something new did not exist. And I did not want to waste any time doing something where I will learn very little. After I quit my job, I actually became a secretary. So I used to sit in front office, handling phone calls from partners, from customers, from all kinds of people wanting to talk to senior executives at this company where I became a secretary. And the reason I took that job was because the head of that business was somebody I respected. His name was Larry. And I wanted to get close to him. I wanted to learn personally from him. So I took a job that paid $7 an hour after business school, and I'm an engineer, and I worked in India in a manufacturing company called Godrej. Most of you would be aware of that company. And after doing my MBA and becoming a graduate, I became a secretary. And the only motivation I had was to learn by getting close to somebody who I respected. And that was a remarkable 3 months I spent as a secretary. I want to tell you a quick story about that. So since I was the secretary, he did not spend much time with me. But one day he called me to his office and he gave me a letter. He said, "Hey, Pankaj, I want you to go and type this letter." So I read his letter and I realized that he was responding to a letter he had received. So I asked Larry, I said, "Larry, can you also give me the letter you received?" And he was confused. He said, "Why do you need that?" I said, just curiosity." He said, "Okay." So I took the letter he received and I took the letter that he wrote in response. And I went back to my desk. I read both and I realized what he wanted to say. But his English wasn't great, in my opinion. So I rewrote his letter. So his response, I completely rewrote and I took it back to Larry and I showed it to him. And he looked at it and he said, "Pankaj, I did not write this." I said, "I know." He said, "So who wrote this?" I said, "I did." So he looked at me and he was confused even more. He said, "Why did you rewrite what I wrote?" I said, "Larry, because I understood what you wanted to say, but you didn't know how to say it well." So he started laughing. He asked me to sit down and he asked me a question. He said, "Who are you?" And that started a great friendship over the next 20 years, where he personally mentored me. He coached me. He knew my story. He was very impressed that I would leave a well-paying job to become a secretary just so I can learn from somebody I respected. Over the last 20 years, I have been laid off 2 times, right? So when you look at my initial few years in the US, being a dishwasher, being a cook, before I found something that was a scholarship that paid for my graduate school. And then quitting my first job and getting close to somebody who actually became a true mentor for me, and then being laid off a few times in Silicon Valley as businesses went bankrupt during the dot-com bust. I feel like I've gone through a lot of adversity, and every single opportunity that I have received has come because what I learned during those adversities. So what can you accomplish after you face any kind of adversity? So I'll give you my examples. I just shared, what I went through in my initial phases in my career. And since then, I've been able to accomplish a great deal working with smart people and smart teams. Kunal talked a little bit about this. I built the world's first email marketing program. It did not exist. I built the world's first brick and click loyalty program, marketing program that never existed before. I built one of the first software as a subscription, which is commonly known as SaaS business in the world. I helped scale a $100 million company into a $700 million company. I turned around a failing business, turned it into a profit machine, and sold it to another company. I've, in my career, advised over 20 startups in Europe, in Asia, in the US, and now in Africa to grow, get to their next phase of growth, raise funds and money to continue to grow, and then subsequently either get acquired or become publicly traded companies. So I could not have done any of this unless I had gone through my specific experiences dealing with challenges and problems that adversity forces you to face. Real world dislikes our plans. We can build the best looking, the best plans in the world, but life always surprises us. You are facing one of the biggest adversities we have faced as humankind with the coronavirus pandemic that is a global concern right now, and we don't know when this might end. This was a complete surprise to all of us, and you're going through this as young graduates, as students. Don't panic. Know that life doesn't like plans, but you should continue to plan your life. So as somebody said once, that plans are nothing, planning is everything. So be ready, be prepared for life to surprise you and put a wrench in your plans, but never give up on planning your life. This is what I've learned personally, and I call it the golden rule for creating opportunities. And that to me is learn to fail, not fail to learn. Every single challenge you will face, and I'm sure you have faced a lot of challenges already in your life, a lot of competition, a lot of heartbreak, and every single one of those challenges gave you at least one thing that you can keep as an experience that will continue to help you throughout your life, not just at one time, but all through your life. You are a sum of all your experiences. So embrace failure, because in failure lies the greatest opportunity to learn. So I'd like to give you 3 action items that I personally deployed over and over again when I faced a challenge or a problem of any kind. And all three of those involve learning. So the first is learning new skills. The second is learn about others. Don't just focus on yourself, but learn about others. And last but not the least, learn about yourself. So when you're thinking about learning new skills, you're thinking about putting together what I call, and I'll give a little bit more detail on this in a later slide, a map of what you know in terms of your own skills and capabilities, and what all you still do not know, which is going to be very relevant in your personal life as well as your professional life. Learning about others is about developing a network. And there's some sort of misconception around network. Network is not about knowing a lot of people. Network is about trusting people and being relevant to them. Networking is not about yourself. Networking is about others. So when you learn about others, you can be more relevant to them. And because of that, you will be seen as somebody unique, and you will end up developing a relevant personal brand. So when somebody looks at you, they know right away that this is a person I can trust. This is a person with unique skills and character. So learning about others is about how you go about developing your own personal network. And learning about self is about looking inward, right? Most of you are still very young, but it should not stop you from looking inwards from time to time. I have a technique that I used for the last 20 years, where every 6 months, I actually write down two things. Number one, what did I do that made me proud? And the second, what did I do to help somebody else? Every 6 months, I write it down over the last 20 years. And this is about evaluating your mental health, figuring out and imagining the place you want to have in history in this world. Okay, so I want to get a little bit more detail around these three techniques that I personally used. So what does growing skills mean? So here are 3 steps that I have done. So first is creating a map of your skills. All of you are engineers, you know how to put together an Excel spreadsheet. I have one of my own. On the x-axis is basically time, as well as what do I want to specifically accomplish over that time. On the y-axis is skills I want to acquire in order to achieve what I want to accomplish, which is on the y-axis. So when you put together this chart, it gives you a really good picture of how you need to develop and grow your skills in order to achieve certain specific accomplishments over time. And I have an Excel spreadsheet I've used. I put it together 18 years ago. I still use it. Second, and this is very important in terms of growing skills, oftentimes, we worry about what is my job? Who do I report to? Who do I work for? What project am I working on? I think those are secondary concerns. What you should primarily focus on is whatever is it that you're doing, what is the 1 or 2 things that you are learning? And that is how you develop your skills. So my mantra about enhancing your skills has always been about, I do not worry about what I'm doing. What I worry about is what am I learning by doing what I'm doing? And that has helped me tremendously. I'll give you one quick example. When I first put together this spreadsheet, I was a marketing analyst, the lowest person in the marketing organization of this company here in Silicon Valley. And I made a plan. I said, you know what? I want to be running a whole marketing team in 5 years. I set myself that as an accomplishment, as a goal. And I put together this map. I said, okay, in order to become the head of marketing, what is it that I don't know today that I should know? So I put together that on the y-axis. 4 years later, I was the head of marketing, the youngest ever head of marketing for one of the largest companies in security, McAfee. I was the youngest VP at 29 years old, right? I don't think that could have happened if I had just focused on what am I doing. So I took jobs over the next 4 years, specifically jobs that I did not know how to do, because I knew if I were doing those jobs, I would learn something new that will help me become the head of marketing in 5 or some years, right? So that's a personal story. Number 3, and this is very important, I would say, developing life skills. So when we typically talk about skills, most people focus on, in your case, technical skills. Do I know how to put together, a specific project based on skills I have, technical skills? What we miss is life skills. And when you talk about business, professional careers, they are mostly built because you understand people. Yes, technical know-how is super important, but equally important is understanding people. So focus a little bit on learning those skills. Communication skills are the #1 soft skill that everybody should focus on acquiring and getting better at over and over again. The second part of life skill would be active listening. A lot of times we listen to each other, but we're not really actively listening to each other. So if I'm talking to you, you are thinking, okay, if Pankaj is saying this, how should I respond? So your mind is focused on how you will respond to me rather than just listening to me and understanding why I'm saying what I'm saying. Where am I coming from? When you train yourself to listen, not to respond, that's when you start understanding people, their motivations. And that leads to the third bullet point here, which is that's what gives you the understanding of how to work well with other people as part of a team. And no person has ever become successful because they were awesome. They have become successful because they had an awesome team and they knew how to make that team an inspired organization to accomplish great things. So where I listed some of my accomplishments, none of that would have been possible if I had not understood people, if I had not listened to other people telling me when I'm wrong, when I'm right, when I had not been able to communicate effectively to march these teams towards awesome accomplishments. So remember this. So number 1, create a map of your skills. Know what you don't know. Number 2, don't do jobs. Do learning in your jobs. And number 3, do not only focus on technical skills. Focus on communication and understanding other people. Second is about developing your network, right? So this is very tactical, but important nevertheless. So number 1 is you have to optimize your LinkedIn profile. A lot of people just have a LinkedIn profile. They don't think about what that means. So when you have a LinkedIn profile, you're actually out there in the world. Based on your profile, people label you. They put you in a bucket. So think hard about what bucket do you want to be in? What label do you inspire to be? So when you are putting your LinkedIn profile, think about what is the value you bring to this world. And that should be your label, your bucket. So think about that very hard. The summary section typically in LinkedIn profiles, very people focus on it. But you should target your summary based on what kind of roles are you looking for, what kind of learning you want to do. If you want to learn something and you are a senior engineer somewhere, don't call yourself a senior engineer, call yourself something else. So when I'm looking for somebody who I can coach, I'm immediately gravitating towards this person because he said specifically or she said specifically what is it that they want to learn. So very important. Number two, research your areas of passion and interest, right? So if you're looking for a job, a role, you should shortlist companies that are working in your area of interest. Don't randomly apply to companies through LinkedIn. You have to focus on what is it that you have passion about. And you will find lots of companies that are operating in that area of interest of yours. And when you identify those companies, your next step has to be to understand that company's vision, what challenges these companies are facing, and then say, what skills will this company require in order to overcome those challenges? And that's when you establish how you will fit into that company. So when you have that level of understanding and then you approach a company, you are a unique candidate already. You understand their vision, you understand their challenges, you can be relevant in terms of how you position yourself, and you rise to the very top of the candidate list that the company is looking for from a recruitment standpoint. A lot of times I've interviewed people and they have not even gone to the website, the company website, to understand what I do. And I never interview them again, right? So this is super important. Third, I talked a little bit about this, growing your network. So remember, growing your network means high quality and trust. How do you do that? You reach out. And I'll tell you, this is a perfect time during this pandemic to actually reach out to people and show concern, be sensitive, and say, you know what, I'm facing the same thing you are. I'm looking for a coach. I want to learn and reach out for mentors. And today I realized I get a lot of these requests myself that I make time. I said, you know what? Yes, this is a time when everybody is sensitive. Everybody is reaching out on an emotional level, not just a professional level. So take advantage of this time. You should be reading and providing relevant comments to other people's posts on LinkedIn, right? A lot of time people just do a like, right? That doesn't do anything. It just tells me that you just want to be active. It doesn't tell me if you're engaged. So show people that you're engaged. You don't have to do for every single person that you follow, look at their post. No, focus based on your number 2 step, on companies that are of interest to you. Read their stuff and provide thoughtful yet relevant comments to their posts. And you can go, and a lot of people are shy. Don't be shy. Reach out to people that you respect, like I did with Larry, right? Reach out to direct message. Don't be shy, right? What's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to say, no, I don't have time. Or they may ignore you. That's okay. That should not stop you. Never be shy. And then last, I think you should join select interest groups, not every group that you find, but select and participate with your original thought. And don't be shy about your thought. You know, a lot of times I realize that smart people have a bigger problem than people who are not that smart. Smart people are so critical, self-critical, that they play out the argument in their own head and say, you know what, that may not be worth it. Let other people decide whether it's worth for them or not. So do not be shy with the original thought. So just to recap, focus on your LinkedIn profile. That's the way the world sees you. So be careful. Number 2, know what you want. So research and shortlist. And number 3, become relevant to those people you are interested in. And that's how you grow your network. Looking inward, again, I think this is something that a lot of people miss out on. And number 1 is stay active and stay healthy. As we all know, this is an unprecedented time, and you need to be in a positive state of mind. And that is a big thing when you are dealing with challenges. If you're negatively oriented, you only think about problems. When you're positively oriented, you start thinking about solutions to problems, and you embrace the challenges rather than walk away from them. How do you do that? You can only do that if your mind is healthy. How do you keep your mind healthy? Physical exercise. For the last 25 years, I have never, barring a few times when I was in a plane perhaps, I have never missed physical exercise, ever. That is how I stay healthy in my head. And that is super important, especially in adversity, to have a strong, positive mind. So make sure you're making some time for any kind of physical activity. Number 2, understand your inner self. Figure out not just your passion, but what you want to accomplish. Like I gave you one story. I have several of my personal stories in terms of how I set goals. Goal setting is super important. As I said before, yeah, life will surprise you, and your plan may not work out the way you hoped it would, but that should not stop you from planning. And a critical component of planning is setting your goals and then going after them through learning action. Number 3, imagine your place in the world. As I said, every 6 months I do this. I've been doing this for a long time. The 2 questions that I think about. Number 1, what did I accomplish that I'm proud of? And number 2, did I help somebody else? When you start doing that regularly, you start imagining your place in the world. You will see very quickly what you do is what you become. These are not 2 separate things. It is one and the same. And when you start noticing the trend, what you do that you enjoy and how you help other people, that's when you realize the change you can bring to this world. And that becomes your story. So think about the next 10 years. What if somebody were to write your story, what would it look like? And work towards making that story real, right? So just to recap, looking inward, stay healthy. Do not sit in your room and watch Netflix all day long. Go exercise. That is the only way I know to keep a healthy mind, and you need it right now. Number 2, understand your inner self. Figure out what you want to accomplish, not what job you want to do. And number 3, imagine your story, how you want other people to talk about you in the next 5, 10 years, and make sure you have a plan to get there, to make that story real. Here's some resources. I will be sharing this presentation, and I'm sure you will have access to it. These are my top choices of reading material that I've used. Actually, most of these books I've read at least 3 times, okay? Mindset is all about that inner self that we were just talking about. If you've not read it or heard about it, it's by Carol Dweck. I highly recommend you reading this book. It's easy, it's short, less than 200 pages, and it's beautiful. It'll give you a new perspective on what positive mindset, which is known as growth mindset, actually means and how do you get there. Agile framework, most of you are, going to be out there working as engineers. It's one of the #1 frameworks that you need to be aware of. If you don't understand it, this link will take you to a recommendation of 5 books that you should read to learn more and understand more about agile frameworks. Anti-Fragile, this is my all-time favorite business book by Nassim Nicholas Taleb, and this is perfect for this time. So Anti-Fragile is based on the concept that how do you become stronger under times of stress. It's a long book. It's a difficult read. I've read it 7 times. It's a beautiful book for this time. It talks about how stress can make you stronger. And this is the time to understand that. 0 to 1, again, an easy book to read by Peter Thiel. This is for people who would like to start their own businesses, become future entrepreneurs in terms of what it takes to become an entrepreneur. It's a beautiful book by Peter Thiel. Himalayan Odyssey. This is a romantic story, It is a story about life. And the #1 thing that I learned from reading this book, it was written in the early 1980s, was when Parker was trekking the Himalayas, he said something that I still remember, that the best insights are through action, not by thinking, right? So you can think all day long of what you want to become, what you want to accomplish, all that stuff. But if you don't action it, nothing will happen. It's a beautiful story. And The Startup J-Curve by Howard Lab. I met Howard a few years ago, and we started talking at an airport, and I picked up his book. It's a beautiful book. Again, this is for, folks who would love to be technical entrepreneurs in the future. It talks about the phases a company goes through and how you need to change your attitude and the type of questions you ask at every phase of a company's growth cycle to make sure that you are more successful than less successful, right? So these are my top choices over the last 15 years that I'm recommending here, and you'll have links to all of them. I want to end with a story, again, a personal experience here. I'm not sure if everybody understands and knows about the American football. It is not the football that we know in India. So this is a football where the foot doesn't get involved. It's mostly throwing a ball. So I want to tell you about Walt. Walt faced adversity that very few people have faced. All his life, he trained to become an American football player. The professional league in the US is called the National Football League, NFL. And there were recruiters from different professional teams looking at Walt because he was very, very good. So just to give you an idea, less than 2,000 people make it to NFL every year, right? And there are hundreds of thousands of people playing American football in college every year. He was an NFL prospect. He was going to become a professional football player and make millions of dollars. But in his final year of college, he broke his knee in a game. He went through multiple surgeries, and the doctors were able to repair his knee. But then they advised him never to play football again. All his life, he trained to be an American football player. He was very good. He was ready to make millions of dollars. And then this happened. And he came from a very poor family. What did Walt do? This is what Walt did. He acted. He took action. He decided to stay in college for another 2 years after finishing college. And he focused on studying business and economics. As he was studying, he donated his time. He didn't make money, but he donated his time to other businesses, small businesses in his neighborhood, so he can gain practical experience in business, to learn on the job. And then after doing that for a few years, he moved to Silicon Valley, where he thought that enterprise initiative is valued more than any other part of the world. So he moved to Silicon Valley. But he faced his second adversity. He had a shock. So when he came to Silicon Valley, he was stereotyped. He was put in a bucket. People asked him questions like, how can a football player fit into my regular business? Or they would say, you don't have the experience that some of these other candidates have that I can easily hire. They thought that Walt was a huge risk to their business, so they did not hire him. So he was in Silicon Valley for about 10 months, and he did not find a job because these were the concerns people had. And then I met him. I hired Walt. I hired Walt knowing that he has no experience in the job I was offering him. And he took it. As he worked for me for the next several years, I gave him the most difficult jobs we had in the company, something that had never been done before. I said, hey, Walt, I don't know how this is done. I don't understand it. Nobody does. Can you take it on? And with a smile, he took it on. He helped us build an extremely successful global business over the next few years. He went on to become and to take on several senior executive roles at Fortune 100 companies, some of the biggest companies in the world. And today, he remains one of the best people, the most valuable employees I've ever hired. So why did he achieve what he achieved working with me? And then after that, this is why. What did he really bring to the table? He had courage. He showed me courage to deal with personal adversity. He came with a positive attitude. When he broke his knee, he didn't sit down. He acted. He learned. He told me he had a positive attitude. If I give him a problem, it will not frustrate him. It will delight him that now it is an opportunity for him to learn something new that he did not know before. I loved it. He brought a perspective which was different, and hence he helped us think different, which is beautiful because that's how you overcome competition in the market. He was a player, a real player on the football field, and he brought that mentality to my team in a business, and he made the whole team better because he understood how to work with others like he did on the football field. Again, I'm talking about the value of life skills, of communication, active listening, and understanding people. He made my whole team better. And last but not the least, he had a beautiful smile. So these are the 5 reasons I hired Walt, and he helped us become super successful. So here's my final message to all of you. Be different, stand out. When you train your mind to learn during adversity, learn from challenges, you are able to see possibilities no one else sees. What does that do? that helps you differentiate and be unique and be different. And what does that do? It builds a unique personal brand for each of you. And when you represent that in the right way, people see you as different. Like I saw Walt to be different. So be different. This is the time, tough time, embrace it and say, what can I learn during this time? Thank you. I hope you found value from this. I'll be happy to respond to any questions if there might be any.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for the informative session. And we would definitely like to bring in some question answers as I can get the information. We have with us Mr. Anup. Mr. Anup wants to ask something. Jatin sir, can we connect Anup? Hello, Jatin sir?
Anup Singh is unmuted.
Anup Singh, you can go ahead, please. Mr. Anup Singh. Anup Singh. Okay, fine. Fine. I have another request. As per my technical team, I am receiving another request from Ananya Sharan. Is Ananya Sharan over here? Ananya Sharan? Good to go with Ananya Sharan. She's unmuted. Jatin sir?
Yes, sir. She is unmuted.
Ananya, you can go on, please. You are unmuted.
Hello.
Yes, Ananya, you are audible.
Yes, you are audible. Please go ahead.
Sir, my question is, sir, sometimes we feel low. Sir, even we have a positive mindset, but still we feel low. Sir, how to drastically change our mind from that low point to positive mindset? Sir, how to gain that?
Ananya, that's an excellent question. So I'll tell you what I do. I have this framework, personal framework. You wouldn't find it in a book. I call it look up, look down. So I've used it many times myself. So when I'm feeling low, I'm almost, it's feeling like you cannot get out of a situation type low. I look down. I look down and see people who are in worse condition than I am. I think about the daily challenges millions of people in the world go through every day just to survive. And I feel blessed. It gives me new energy that I have so much advantage. What am I doing feeling bad or low? It completely energizes me to do something different than just feeling sorry for myself, right? So it is beyond the positive attitude, the positive mindset. It's actually understanding all the advantages that you have when you look down. The second component of this is looking up. So there are times when you feel like you've done a lot, right? You've accomplished a lot, you feel proud, you're very happy with yourself. That's when I look up and say, you know what? There's so many people I know who have accomplished so much more than I have. And I let go of feeling complacent when I'm feeling content and say, I have still more to accomplish, right? So when you're feeling low, look down. When you're feeling content, look up. And both of those scenarios give you energy. One gives you energy to stop feeling sorry for yourself and actually act. and the other gives you energy. So you stop being complacent and continue to grow yourself. Does that help you, Ananya?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, that was good. Good question by you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, please unmute yourself. And I would like to add on a couplet from Urdu, since it is my hobby. I'll tell you that please don't get disheartened. शाखें रही तो फूल पर पत्ते भी आएंगे. ये दिन अगर बुरे हैं तो अच्छे भी आएंगे, बेटा. Okay, so keep your spirits up and always be cherished. Okay. Okay. So my technical team is telling me I have Katyani. Do we have Katyani? Katyani wants to ask something from sir. Katyani.
Good evening, sir.
Yes,
Katyani
please come.
Bhadwa this side.
Please come in. Please come in.
Yes, sir. So my question is that in past 3 years of my engineering, I got back 3 times in 3 semesters and get clear in specific period of time. I'm not a dull student, but my AQT always put me back in a subject, and that instant of time is like very distracting, and I got demotivated a lot at that time. And if I'm focusing upon any technical things or any success of my life, I get pushed away and not able to focus on it. How can I deal with that type of situation, that span of time when I got my challenge result and get passed? But still, sir, that 3 months of time is really very distracting for me.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I'll tell you, I'm an engineer, and I wasn't a very good one myself. But they were, so when I'm a mechanical engineer, right? There were topics that I loved, like thermodynamics, refrigeration. And I was the best student for the topics I loved and enjoyed, and not so good in topics that I did not enjoy. So the number one thing I would say to you is figure out what you enjoy and become the best at it, right? Everything else does not matter. So when you're depressed about, so the problem would be, when you're self-reflecting and you understand that you never wanted to become an engineer. That's the bigger problem to me, right? But if you wanted to become an engineer, to figure out what is of true interest to you personally among all the courses that you take, and try to become the best at those courses. And this is the advantage of that. When you start excelling at something that you love, you know what happens? You're more ready to face the topics and the courses that you didn't like as much, even better, right? So my personal example, right? There was this course, one of the toughest courses in mechanical engineering, called Mechanics of Deformable Bodies. I hated it. I was the worst student in the class for that, right? So my professor...
want to clear a thing that I just as give a paper of integrated circuit, right? I've done my best, but this is the university problem and their mistake to come back on that subject. Their problem. I put my subject on a challenge, I cleared and won the challenge, and I cleared that subject after 3 months of a challenge. But that specific period of a time, when I faced the look of the people, they laugh at me, you got a back on that subject, you are thinking that this subject is your best subject. So that kept me demotivated a lot, sir. I'm just working at that span of time in a project, which is really a very, very best project. That type of project is not made in India's market. I'm making us a patient bed, automatic patient bed, but at that time when I've got my result, I'm get demotivated a lot and not able to present that presentation on an international webinar, which is one of my dreams. So that sort of span of time, I'm get really very demotivated. That question is that.
Yes. So thank you for clarifying. So here's what I would say, a lot of times, and this is a problem lots of us face. I face this problem myself. We worry about what others say and what others think of us. That's the wrong thing to worry, because you do not control what others feel, think, or say. You only control what you think, feel, and say. So this is a big lesson in business, right? I talk about this a lot with a lot of business leaders in Silicon Valley and all across the world. A lot of times business leaders get occupied with what my competition is doing. You can't worry about that because you can't control that. You only worry about, as a business, what factors you control. So I would recommend to you, think about and make a list, which is what I do. Things I control, things I don't. And you look at the list of things you don't control and say, oh, got it. Okay, ignore. And focus on things you control personally. That's the only way to move forward, right? And over time, people really don't have time for you. Let me tell you that. They don't have time for anybody. They only focus on themselves. They will forget what they thought of you very quickly because they have other challenges to worry about on a personal level. So make a list, things you control, things you do not control. Look at the list which says things I do not control, ignore it, and then start focusing on things you personally control. That's what I do.
Okay, Katyani. Don't be afraid of back. Sometimes it happens. सबसे बड़ा रोग क्या कहेंगे लोग? ये सोचने की जरूरत नहीं है बेटा. ठीक है? Now next I'm bringing in. My technical team is sending me queries from. I have a student, Mriga Khanna. I have Mriga Khanna with me. She wants to ask something. I would like to request Jatin sir to please unmute Mriga Khanna so that she can go ahead, please. Mriga.
A very good evening, sir.
Let's request the people asking question to briefly introduce themselves. They are first year, second year, final year.
Yeah. Mriga is a third year student, which I can recollect. But she'll introduce herself better. Mriga, please introduce yourself before asking your question, please.
Okay, sir. A very good evening, sir. Am I audible?
You are more than audible. Go ahead.
Sir, this is Mriga Khanna, this side, a student of third year ECE branch from RKGIT. Sir, I have a question. Like it is said that we are the our own drivers of our life. So there are times when we feel low and we try and dig negativity out. It's like everything is going positive. We are working on a clock. The time is with us, but still there are some things which try and drag us down. And what we try to do is we try and fetch negativity all around from our career, from our things all around us. So how to overcome that situation?
Yeah, so again, a great question. So think about this for a moment. Take a breath, a deep one, okay? When, again, will you have an opportunity like you have now to really think about yourself? You're not going outside the house. You're not meeting friends. You're not attending in-person classes or school. You're not out there doing a job outside because none of it is possible. This is the perfect time to think about yourself. And this is super important. As I said about the 3 things that I do personally, learning about yourself is super important. And here's what is important when you do that. That's when you are thinking about not what's happening right now. That's where you're focused on how you imagine yourself to be 5, 10 years from now. So if you deal just with what you're facing currently in the present circumstance, your mind fails to recognize opportunities of who you can become 5, 10 years from now, right? So yes, you will feel low. That's totally natural and it's okay. But again, think about factors you control and only focus on them. And then when you're looking inward, think about not right now what's going on, because that only gets you in a 360 talking about the same thing over and over again. Instead, think about the 5 years from now. So let me give you an example. Okay, here's my example. So if you are sitting and thinking about yourself, what factors you control, what kind of learning you want to do, think about, because of this pandemic across the globe, what new areas of opportunities are going to come up in the next 5 to 10 years. Open up your mind to think original and say, you know what? A regular job may not be a regular job anymore. We talked about a new normal, right? So what does the new normal look like? Can you position yourself to take advantage of that new normal? So when you start thinking 5 years out and stop thinking about what's happening right now, your mind is a powerful instrument. It starts looking at possibilities of new opportunities in the future, right? So two things I would recommend. Number one, as I said before, just focus on things you control. Nothing else matters. This is a great time to reflect because you have all the time. You're not outside, you're inside anyways, in your home, in your apartment, whatever, right? And the second thing is, don't think about what's happening right now. Think about, because of what is happening right now, what new opportunities will come up 5 years from now. And that's where you need to be in your mind 5 years from now.
Okay. Hello. Okay. So we have with us Mr. Avneesh Gaur from Oman. I think it is the last query of the day. Jatin sir, please go on with Avneesh sir from Oman, please. Jatin sir.
Sir, unmuted him.
Dr. Avneesh, please go ahead, sir. You are on, please, sir.
I am just appreciating what he said. Actually, the views he shared, it is likewise. And I was listening yesterday, Gaur Gopal Das. He was also saying same thing like, but the main thing, so I was just appreciating, I was not having any question. Thanks to be the part of this webinar.
Thank you.
So you can continue.
Kunal, you have to come back.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir, for this. And now we also have with us Abhishek Srivastava, sir. I just escaped out of my mind. Without his help and cooperation, it wasn't possible for us to conduct this. He is the CEO of Telenoetica and a great speaker. We had a session of him in RKGIT last year, I guess. I would like to bring him in, please. Abhishek, sir, please speak up and motivate the young audience. We have a group of many people over here, and most of them are young minds only. Please, sir, go ahead. Abhishek, sir.
Kunal, thanks very much. I think it was a wonderful session. And for me personally, it is, I'm really pleased to share a platform with Mr. Pankaj Srivastava, who happens to be my first mentor, virtual mentor, by the way. I got mentored by his leads, by his talks all my life. And I still remember when he was, I think he was moving to the US for his MBA. I asked him, what are you going to do in the future? He said that I'll do something on my own. And that thought stuck in me, and I did something on my own, So he's a great It was a very good time. Uh, uh, the audience, some of the questions were very interesting, and just thank you for this opportunity for all of us to reach out to young students. They need a lot of our time, and we are always there as industry experts. For not experts, whatever we are within the industry, but we are there for them. To guide them. One thing is there which I would also want to share with Mr. Pankaj, is that one of the issues that students have, they don't have the right trigger always. The thought provoking, I was going through your talks, and most of these ideas are within us. Most of these things are commonsensical thing as well, but the trigger is missing sometime to bring them out, for us to uh, uh, to kind of uh, work on those ideas and make them on an Excel sheet, for example, and so that you can to make them tangible rather. So sometimes those triggers, it is our responsibility as well to be always available for the students, and whenever we interact with them, we have that trigger which should be thought provoking for them to go back with them, because they are very intelligent people and they have a lot of things going in their head at this young age. So overall, thank you so much, and it's an honor to be part of this platform.
Yeah, Abhishek, if you don't mind, I want to just add one quick thing on the trigger. I think that's a very important point, vital actually. So, that spreadsheet that I talked about, I call it SOS, which is a distress signal, right? SOS.
Okay.
It actually stands for
Save our soul.
Right. It actually stands for my spreadsheet as spreadsheet of skills, SOS. That is my trigger. I look at it every year and say, where am I on this? So I create that trigger artificially for myself every year, right? There's a particular date. It is on my calendar as a reminder. It says SOS. When I have that, I go back to my spreadsheet and say, where am I on this, right? But it is important, if you don't create goals, you will not get the triggers. And when you don't get the triggers, you will not act. And if you don't act, you will not learn, right? So that's important.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Dear participants, please be patient. We will be posting the feedback links as soon as this session ends. We are just concluding it only. I would like to bring in the Vice Chairman of RKGIT Group, Mr. Akshat Goel. Please, Akshat sir, please come in for the vote of thanks, and please motivate our young students and listeners, please. Mr. Akshat Goel. Jatin sir, please go ahead with Mr. Akshat Goel.
Good evening, everyone. My sound is coming?
You're audible, sir. Please go ahead, sir. You're audible.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I welcome Pankaj Srivastava, sir, to make this event with his motivational words and telling importance about the adversity. And I also thanks to Dr. Anil Kumar, who is SPIU, and especially my college ECE department team, because of them, because of their work hard, it is unbelievable. And when I was seeing, when I watched the topic was how to focus on how to move the opportunities from the adversities. It's a simple thing. When we talk about the adversities, everyone have adversity in his life, in his whole life, and adversity brings out the best from the human being. See, we face adversity in our own ways, but the people who are ultimately successful in their endeavors are often those who finds way to create opportunities out of their adversity, no matter how difficult your situation seems to be. you can overcome with that. And I will say, it can be happen, and it's happen only. Like, for example, if I'm facing some challenges, maybe it would, that those challenges would be strength for me for upcoming days. So we have to focus, like, how to convert your challenges into your strength. So when we talk about this topic, see, right now the situation, this pandemic is going on. Everybody have their different problems, and especially the students about their exams. The exams will be held or not. What will be going on? What will be the scenario? There are many things going on right now, and this pandemic shows, this pandemic shows the new way. For example, like before a year only, we were as a person, we were active on social media, but we were not active on the virtual meetings. We were not involved in the webinars. We were not involved in the e-learning things. In especially in India, that it used to be a kind of a joke. But this pandemic, and I'm sure for upcoming years also, the things have been changed. And from right now, we also have to think differently, because see, there's a one thing common, from every situation. If the situation is worse, we don't have to said that we are okay, we can't fight with that situation. You have to just fight with it, and you have to learn from it. The best part of the difficulty facing from the life is just you have to learn from that thing, because the learning will going on throughout the life. Learning will never stop. And see, I also said that we have to learn from each and everything. We have the such kinds mentors around us. We can learn from our parents, we can learn from our elders. So, and I hope everyone is safe in this COVID situation right now. And I will just say one thing, like, just focus on your strength. It doesn't need, yet. There are sometimes what happen, you start thinking about negativity. And the why you start thinking negativity, the reason is that you are with the negative persons. And I will say one thing: if you think positive, the outcome will be positive. If you start thinking negative, the outcome will be negative only. This is a simple thing. So just be a positive person, and everything will be fine. And you have to understand your limitations also. That's an important part of your life. And I will just say one thing, because I think I'm taking out too much time. I will just say one thing, just start interacting with the positive people. That's it. If your surrounding environment is good, all things will be converted into positive. So right now we are in that situation. We have to look around the things. We have to understand the situation. We have to understand this, the crisis because of this pandemic, and we have to uh, commit from the way with a positive way. Our prime minister also say Atmanirbhar Bharat. So what is that thing? That is a thing only, that he knows that we are facing lots of problem, but we have the right courage. We have the positivity that we will come from apart from this COVID situation, and make like he's focusing on the local thing. Just that everything should be make in India. He doesn't say that stop purchasing or stop buying the products which are from outside. He doesn't say that thing. What he means is like, if I'm using a Samsung phone, or if I'm using an Apple phone, that should be made in India rather than other made in countries. So from I first of all, I really thanks to the EC department, HOD RK Yadav, Dr. RK Yadav ji, and Pawan sir, and especially our host Kunal Lala, and I once again I really thanks to the Pankaj Srivastava sir to to telling about this adversity, because during this time that this topic is very important to understand what because many people are facing different kind of problems. So I will just say thank you so much, sir, to bring your words here, and that's it. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you so much, sir. Every cloud has a silver lining, sir. And jiski rahi bhavna jaisi, tin murat dekhi prabhu taisi. So always be positive. We have shared the links all over in the chat boxes and on all the platforms for the feedback. You will receive the certificate after you fill the feedback. I think, Jatin sir, by this we can come to the end.
Yes,
and
sir.
Kunal, just one.
Yes, sir.
Kunal.
Yes,
yeah,
sir, please.
I would just like to mention one thing. I'm very excited with this whole event that has been planned, and the enthusiasm with which Dr. Pawan approached me for this webinar series, and the way the entire marketing team got down to doing the banners and the promotional aspect of it. The number of participants that joined was really amazing, and I believe as this promotions reach out to the people, more and more participants will join and get benefited by the next talks that are in line. Also, if we get more registrations, probably we'll request Pankaj again to come back and speak to another set of audience, maybe later in August, mid-August, by the time we end these series. So thank you very much from
We'll plan it definitely soon, sir. Thanks to all the speakers, to all the esteemed guests. I would like to end it on the last few lines. चलो मुस्कुराने की वजह ढूंढते हैं, जिंदगी तुम हमें ढूंढो, हम तुम्हें ढूंढते हैं. Thank you so much for being a passionate and a patient audience. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.